to be at home in the Midwest and at home with so many conservatives. We have that wonderful expression in Indiana, back home again. I'm back home again whenever there are this many conservatives together. Literally, as Senator Johnston was finishing his comments, I suddenly realized, it was exactly 1 month ago, this very moment, that I was standing in front of a poll in Hendricks County, Indiana on primary day. We have worked for almost 14 months. We started out with a campaign that was described as David versus Goliath. It was said to be impossible. A lowly state treasurer could never take a 36-year incumbent out of office. But we did. We did it because Republicans rallied, Tea Party members worked, and because so many people simply knew that our nation is in trouble and we need a new direction. But I have to share with you, the last 30 days have been quite a life-changing experience. And I mean that most seriously. My wife and I are very kind of private, quiet people. And it's a strange thing to be making lunch for yourself and hear yourself being talked about on Rush Limbaugh. That's weird. Just in the last month, I've been amazed, and I've been called out by name and criticized by Colin Powell. I've been criticized by Barbara Boxer and Harry Reid. And if you can even imagine it, a leading Democrat, Chuck Schumer, described me as, and I quote, the Hoosier headache. Well, Mr. Schumer, all I can say is for you and your friends and your ideas, yes, I am. My friends here from Indiana know that I cannot get through a speech without giving a little bit of a history lesson. And I want to share with you a quote from Abraham Lincoln that is so important today because, as Senator Rand Paul said a few moments ago, those of us who are taking the position of standing on principles are being criticized for simply doing that. And there have been other times in our country's history when we've been as polarized as we are now, certainly before a great 19th century catastrophe, even more than now. But we are at the moment that could be described as Abraham Lincoln described the days just prior to the Civil War when there was constant argument and no agreement in Congress, and he said, and I quote, "The present agitation must continue until one side prevails over the other in the public's mind." We are in a historic moment when the two parties see the solution to America's problems from dramatically different points of view. Those of us who are conservatives and Republicans know we must roll back the size of government, let people keep more of their wealth and property, and make government less consequential in the lives of everyday Americans, while the Democrats simply think, let's borrow more, spend more, make government bigger, and somehow that will be the answer. That is not the answer. I got into this race as someone who realized the odds would be long, but I did it quite simply because I believe American principles matter in this country. Because if the United States of America begins to descend on the international scene, the world will become a dangerous place. And we cannot let that happen. We're going forward from now until November, the next 5 months, with energy and with enthusiasm because we know, again, as Mr. Lincoln once said, might makes might. I have to share with you, I'm more frustrated with Republicans than I am with Democrats, to be quite honest. And let me say why as I close, even as I ask to recruit you. You see, I don't expect the Democrats like those I named before to put out the right kind of answers for America's problems. But I'm frustrated with Republicans because even so many who will go to the nation's capital in the House and the Senate and cast their vote the right way won't go back to their district to get in front of the unfriendly microphones and the unfriendly crowds to explain why their vote was the right vote. We must use our energies, our belief in our history, our belief in our principles to bring converts to our cause. You know, I often make the point that it was during those incredible 8 years of the Reagan administration when the course was set for an incredible run of American prosperity, and during that 8 years, not one single day did the Republicans or conservatives control the United States House of Representatives. Not one day. But Ronald Reagan got great things done. And how did he do it? When individual Democrats in the House would try to block on a bill, he would get on board Air Force One, go to their district, go right around the media. You know he had to love it every day. He went right around the media and he would talk to those constituents and tell them to pick up the phone and call their congressman, call their senator, and get on board with his plan because his ideas were right. And they did so, and Ronald Reagan changed the world. Johnson both said that time is getting short, the clock is running, and we cannot let this great era of American exceptionalism end through our own inactivity. We have to step forward, not just those of us who are privileged to win nomination or even privileged to serve in office, but all of us who believe in our cause, and that's all of you or you wouldn't be here. Have to stand in front of those folks who may not be ready to receive the message to get them to come to our side. Because when we do that, we too will make history. We will get America back on course. Thank you all.